Military service is important for the simple fact that a lot of our freedoms right now are because the men and women that are out there working hard to protect it. A lot of them are getting injured, dying. They're surviving under some really bad conditions for the safety of us and for us to have our freedom. So I served 4 years in the Marines as security forces and infantry. I've trained for what these guys are going through, and luckily there's a lot of it that I didn't have to go through like these guys, and I don't envy what they are going through. It's an important part of being a young man and being put into a position where you're forced to grow up quick. You're forced to understand things that not many people can understand because you don't have a choice. You just have to deal with it. So it's very important to me, and I have a lot of pride for being a former Marine. I have a lot of pride for being, an American in this country and seeing the people go out there and doing what they're doing. It's important for me to have that pride coming from the military and being able to show my son how to be a leader, how to help people that need to be helped. So I keep him a part of this as much as I can. I take him to my boxing lessons. I train him as much as I can. I get him involved. Giving back to people is important for me, and my goal is to have my son do the same. I actually have experience from a boot camp standpoint outside of the Marines. I was a drill instructor for juvenile felon boot camp a number of years back in the 90s. We got guys that were anywhere between 13 to 18. They had 1 to 10 felonies, and we put them through a Marine Corps style boot camp that helped them become better people. And that was a foundation that I had created back years ago that I use as well for these kids. So when I do work with them, every kid is different. Every kid has his or her own issues that I have to try to break through and understand. So I pretty much do what it takes right now. If I got to be more boot camp mentality, I do. Some of them need it. Some of them are kind of hard-headed. And so I got to do what I have to do to break through to them. So what I hope that they take away from the program in general is when they're put in situations where they're out with their buddies, they're wanting to pass around some weed or something, that they think a little bit about the consequences before they take it. Or maybe even better, they don't even associate with that guy no more. Or when they are put in a position where in the past they would have done A. What I'm trying to do is plant a little seed that they might choose B and go a different route. Relentless to me is a mentality you have to pursue. I come from a very poor upbringing. My family didn't have anything. We had military or get stuck in the environment as an option. I chose the military. I got out. I've made a lot of poor decisions on where my life was at up until around 33 years old. But I've always kept a relentless mentality to keep pushing. And when I started working with the youth in the very beginning with this, as I'm thinking about what names, I can put to this or how to form a company around it, there was no other name that would really stand out more than that. So I really try to get these kids to internalize what it means to be relentless and figure out that you do have value within yourself and find out what direction that you want to see yourself go and then be relentless at going after that. Well, when I first got here to Las Vegas, I came without my wife and son for about 3 months, and so I had actually gotten a little overweight myself, and I have a desire for McDonald's and their cheeseburgers, and so I started training, doing boxing and MMA to get myself back in shape. And so I started training at a local facility, and I dropped like 20 pounds in a short period of time, and I got to a point where I wasn't really picking up new things, and my need to learn was not growing. So I feel that I'm a pretty resourceful individual, so I just created my own gym within my house. I started buying equipment. I started posting ads to get workout partners. And next thing you know, I meet a kid who was 19, and about a month prior, he came from Baltimore, and he had overdosed on heroin and some other things, and he wanted to try to get his life back on track. So I meet this kid, and he's got Warrior tattooed on his chest and a mohawk, and a little rough-looking kid, tattoos all over, and so I'm like, okay, let's start training, and you know, it didn't take too long before I realized this kid had some other things that I can help him with. So I've always been that guy with my family and other people that I get involved and try to maybe do too much to help them out and maybe save them or whatever. But I did with him, and I saw a change with him. I saw him doing better and getting off the weed and other things he was doing, smoking. And next thing you know, his buddies were starting to show up and want help too. So that's what kind of blossomed Relentless Boxing Club. I pick boxing as an outlet. That doesn't mean that it's the best outlet or it's the only outlet. You know, I would say, you know, I come across many people that are doing different things by helping the youth. So I would say, you know, look for help because there is help out there. You know, hopefully, a lot of the youth today, they don't need the people to be overly soft on them. They don't need the people to be afraid to tell them what they need to hear. You know, they need people that can you know, kind of grab a hold of them and say, look, you know, this isn't what you need to be doing. You need to follow me in this direction. So there are lots of people out there that do the same thing in other aspects or even boxing, and I would just, you know, tell them to go out and find them, you know, and you know, or contact me and I'll do some legwork to help them or whatever, you know. I mean, there's people out there that do this all the time. My passion is to show my son that what it means to give back, to be a leader in the community, and how important it is to lead others into the right direction. So for me, this isn't a wealth thing. This isn't a way for me to get rich. In fact, I've been doing this for over 3 years, and I have yet to profit a penny from it at all, and that's okay. You know, my wife understands. She sees the letters I get from the kids that are locked up. She sees, you know, the Facebook postings from the moms that see that their son's doing something different, and she gets it. My name is Steve Call, and that's my chapter and verse.